I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome here, everyone. And at this time, I'd like to give the opening to Councillor Susan Penner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When I was 13 years old, I started a gratitude journal. I think I got the idea from Oprah Winfrey, or maybe the Book of Proverbs. I can't quite remember. Regardless, every day I would write down some of the things I was thankful for, and pretty soon I had journals full of gratitude. It changed me and my outlook on life. Since it's Thanksgiving week, I thought it would be appropriate to share the type of things I put in my current gratitude journal, which is now a Word document instead of a spiral-bound notebook. The most obvious thing I and many others are thankful for right now is the incredible fall weather. It really is remarkable how weather impacts our quality of life. Of course, I'm thankful for my family, my friends, my job, and a whole host of other things that I often take for granted. I'm thankful for our community. I'm thankful for the leadership of Mayor Funk, who leads with humility and a sincere heart for Steinbach. I'm thankful for our CAO, Troy Workington, who keeps the city running smoothly and keeps council in line. He is knowledgeable, calm, and always keeps the best interests of the city at the forefront. I'm thankful for City Clerk Deb Rempel. She has to deal with this crew, which surprisingly is not always the picnic you think it would be. Her competence and graciousness makes our job so much easier. I'm thankful for the great city staff. The service level in Steinbach is incredible. We don't even have to shovel the windrows of snow at the end of our driveways after snow plows come through. I'm thankful for our business community, both for the jobs they provide and how they support our nonprofit organizations, which I'm also thankful for. I'm thankful for our churches, which teach congregants to love their neighbor. Churches carry so much of the load in terms of social needs. I'm surprised governments don't try and plant churches. I'm thankful for our new water treatment facility, the Clear Spring Greens pathway, dog park, the new PCH, the funding we received for the new arena, the announcement about the hospital expansion. It's just been an incredible term so far. And honestly, I could go on. In fact, today I'm thankful that Brant Street is finally open. I think it is very easy to lose sight of how good we have it. There are constantly negative voices fighting for our headspace, but fear, anger, and entitlement make us blind to what we have, and they steal our thankfulness, contentment, and joy. Living in gratitude is far superior than the alternative. It's over 30 years since I started that gratitude journal. I've written in it in every season of life, regardless of how I was feeling. And as I look back over the years since I started it, I can honestly say it has changed my perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Penner. You are totally right that once you start being grateful, all the things that make you sad, they seem to disappear. Council, we have the agenda in front of us, looking for a motion to adopt. Councillor Swagser, second by Councillor Penner. Any comments? Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. We have the minutes of September 21, 2021 regular council meeting on page 1. We've all had a chance to review. Looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Hebert, second by Councillor Siemens. Any question or any comments? No. Call for the question. All in favor? That is carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Okay, seeing none. There's no public hearing. There's no delegation. We'll go right to 8A. This is the reports and recommendations of City Manager. This is referring to the bylaw 2179. Read the petition submission. It's on page 3 of your agenda. Mr. Workney, could you please introduce this file?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. You notice that in the agenda package there is a copy of a petition consisting of several pages and dozens of names. Information that was contained in the neighborhood and residents petition that was submitted at the public hearing, the city's public hearing of August 17th, 2021, to consider the rezoning bylaw 2179 was incomplete, and pursuant to Division 3 of the Municipal Act, which deals with petitions, the petitioners have resubmitted their petition to the city with updated information as of September 22nd of this year. And this document is being provided as information to council. and I confirm its sufficiency for its intended purpose, as is required under the Act. The petition will be forwarded to the Manitoba Municipal Board along with any other pertinent correspondence with respect to Bylaw 2179. And as I mentioned, this update is being provided only as information, and no further action of council is required.
Thank you, Mr. Warkatine. Okay, council, so we'll just at this time take this as information. Okay, thank you. Okay, council, we'll go to 9A, that is the accounts payable in the back of the book. We've had a chance to review, looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Hebert, second by Councillor Hebert. Any comments?
No, paying our bills. Thank you.
Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. We have 9B. This is bylaw 2185. This is the street renaming. This is third reading. It's on page 7 of our agenda. Mr. Worthing, would you please introduce this file?
This is a recommendation from administration for council to give bylaw 2185 third reading, and this is to officially name Henry Place.
Council, would you like to proceed? Councillor Siemens,
Motion to approve.
second by Councillor Penner. Any comments?
It's a housekeeping matter, and that solves the issue.
Okay. Anything further? Anything further of council? Anything in closing? Okay. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, council 9C, we've got the building permits as for September 2021 on page 11. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Swagstra?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we accept the building permits.
Okay. Second by Councillor Hebert. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we're continuing with a strong year in both residential and commercial, the total building permits for the month of September, just under $9 million, takes us to a year-to-date of $73 million, and so that continues to be a strong year for construction in Steinbach, both residential and commercial.
Anything further?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think Councillor Swagstra has said it. It's looking good.
Anything in closing?
Nope.
Yes, council, I do, I would agree with Councillor Swagstra. I just want to make little highlights here. We've got quite a bit of commercial again. We've got over $5 million worth of commercial industrial again this year. So giving us a total of just under $41 million of commercial and industrial for the year. That's a very, very strong year commercially. And one of the highlights for commercial is the $3.7 million permit for the retail store repair. So that, I mean, that's a retail store. We're showing that we're getting more and more commercial all the time. We've got a couple of multifamily dwellings, one for 1.8, and then we've got also a storage garage new building for North Front Drive for just over $1 million. Again, that's another commercial building. Really showing that commercial is strong. So is the multifamily and residential, and with hitting somewhere around 73 million for the year so far. We got 3 months left. You know, I'm excited. I think we're going to have another big year. So looking forward to some really great things for this year yet. Council, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Council, we got 9D. We've got the business license. It's on page 12. Looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Hebert, second by Councillor Siemens.
No comment.
Okay, call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. We got 9E. We've got excavators license. Looking for a motion to Susan Penner, Councillor Penner, second by Councillor Hebert.
This one's my favorite.
Well, persuade us. Why?
Okay,
Things need to be excavated.
We'll go straight to the question.
Digging in hole here.
All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We got 9F. We've got the appointment to the 2022 Board of Revision members. Council just looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Swagstra, second by Councillor Penner. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Every year, we appoint a board of revision to evaluate any appeals regarding assessments, and this always takes place at the last Tuesday in October. And in the past, it used to be members of council on there, and then wisely it was decided that it would be better to appoint independent people that were not on council, and so that's why we're going ahead with that.
Thank you. Anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay. Anything further of council? Closing?
No?
Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Are there any questions of council? Okay, seeing none. Got number 11. This correspondence and petitions. This is A, Seine, Roseau Watershed District. We got the minutes, August 17th, 2021. Are there any comments or questions?
Mr. Mayor, I wonder if I could just bring a brief report on behalf of what my job is at the Conservation District.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Manitoba has watersheds. Seine Roseau District is a watershed. When elected to City Council in 2019, you appointed me to the Seine River Conservation District, which is now called Seine Roseau Watershed. In the 3 years since, our mayor has continued to reappoint me to this portfolio. In the spring of 2020, I was elected to the current chair, and Mr. Ed Penner of VITA is the vice chair. As such, I was chosen to represent Seine Roseau Watershed to the Manitoba Association of Watersheds, which is where I'm currently elected the vice chair. At this time, I would like to update council on what the appointment entails and what projects I am currently involved in as the city's representative. In 2019 and prior to the Manitoba had 18 watershed conservation districts. Each district had a manager and employees who headed up the water conservation and their respective areas. 4 of the districts were infrastructure districts. The one closest to Steinbach is Cooks Creek. All of the conservation districts are under the direction of the Manitoba Conservation District Association, or MCDA. In January of 2020, the Manitoba government enacted the Manitoba Watershed District Act. Under the legislation, Seine is now known as the Seine Roseau Watershed. MCDA is now the Manitoba Association of Watersheds, or for short, MAW. The Manitoba Watershed District Program is a provincially municipal partnership directed to the conservation and management of water and soil resources. There are now 14 watersheds in Manitoba. Manitoba has 137 municipalities, of which 130 municipalities are partners with respective watershed districts covering almost all of the agriculture area in Manitoba. MAW and all the watershed districts are now for non-profit, with the majority holding charitable status. MAW is presently applying for charitable status, and the Seine Roseau Watershed already operates with charitable status. Overseeing all the watershed districts in Manitoba, with our office recently relocating to Buffalo Place in Winnipeg. This is as of yesterday. As the Vice Chair of MAW, I serve on the Finance Committee, Human Resources Committee, Annual Convention Committee, and the Chair Policy Committee. Recently, the Policy Committee updated and rewrote the MAW Policy Manual. This policy manual is now awaiting second and third reading prior to implementation. At present, I am busy chairing the annual general meeting, the AGM and conference in Brandon slated for December 6th and 7th. As you can see, I oversee a significant number of individuals involved in the watershed program, including employees from the 14 watersheds and all of the members of each sub-district, and elected and appointed officials tallying over 500. Working out of the MAW office is the Executive Director and Project Manager. Both were recently hired, and I was part of that hiring and interviewing process. Recently, we added a third person to the staff, our communications person, who has demonstrated her potential in complementing the team. MAW supports the districts by working on public policy issues, administrating joint funding projects, and sharing their success stories. MAW strives to protect Manitoba's soil, water, habitat during the ever-changing climate. The new Act, the Watershed District Act, transitioned the districts to watershed based on boundaries to improve the management of floods, droughts, and water quality. It allows the watersheds to form partnerships with non-municipal entities, including Indigenous First Nations, in order to enhance the watershed management. implementing stricter rules and regulations, including permits and licensing, such as a municipality cleaning out a ditch, a creek, now requires a license. A farmer trenching a field in fall and going more than 6 inches in depth requires a permit. MA produces an annual periodical called The Current, which some of you may be familiar with. As chair of the Seine Roseau Watershed District, I am a member of the Finance Committee, Human Resources Committee, Chair, Policy Committee. Recently, we wrote this policy manual. The Board of Directors has passed the 3rd reading. For 48 years, Manitoba Conservation have collaborated with farmers, landowners, communities, nonprofits, and local, provincial, and federal Indigenous governments to protect Manitoba's watersheds. The Watershed District Act empowers the new Watershed District to take the next steps required to build Manitoba's resilience to flooding, droughts, climate change, nutrient loading, and more. Seine Roseau is founded on the partnership with all 60 municipalities and with the provincial government, Manitoba Ag and Resources, as well as other provincial federal government departments. The priorities of the Seine Roseau watershed are found in the Seine, Rat, Marsh, and Roseau integrated watershed management plans that were developed from the public meetings and locally prioritized natural assets directing our watershed management. Much of our efforts are focused in the areas of sustainable surface water management with prioritized water retention for floods and drought protection, source water security by sealing abandoned wells and providing access to water testing, and enhancing surface water quality with buffer strips to capture nutrient during runoff and riparian fencing of waterways, dugouts, and swamp. Other pressures directing Seine watershed are soil, water, habitat, animal, insects, plants, carbon sequestration, and sustainable grazing projects that include partners with Agri-Canada, International Institute of Sustainable Development, and the University of Manitoba. One of the most popular programs right now to help with drought is to provide fencing and solar-powered water pumps to producers at 50% cost. This may also include the digging of new dugouts. You may ask, what is the benefit of such a fencing? We pay for fencing and solar water pumps because with the cattle are not walking into dugouts, they're not contaminating the water, and then drinking such water, resulting in healthier cattle. With calves, may be as much as 150 to 200 pounds heavier by fall with access to clean water. If you have several hundred calves at today's prices at $2.50 a pound or whatever, you can figure out what the profit is. The benefit to the environment is equally beneficial as the water is not being polluted downstream, nor is the water table aquifer being contaminated. This reduces the nutrients polluting downstream into the Netley-Lebo Marsh and ultimately Lake Winnipeg. There are several projects we are working on at present. In Steinbach, we have partnered with the Mennonite Heritage Museum in restoring the banks of the pond and the waterways to enhance the water quality. We have also seeded native grasses along the shores. These tall native grasses will discourage and divert large numbers of Canada geese from the area, at the same time stabilizing the shores. This project consists of funding around $120,000 and is funded by the provincial grants, along with money and in kind from Seine Roseau. We recently completed 2 large water retention projects in Grunthal. This not only serves as a retention for dry periods of drought, but more importantly slows water runoff into the Joubert Creek and thus protecting the village of St. Pierre. Another large project we are involved in at present is slowing down the water holding water in an 800-acre swamp south of Gardenton near the U.S. border. This project helps capture water coming into Canada beyond our control and stores it in reducing flooding on the surrounding good pasture lands. It will also benefit and reduce flooding downstream, but also serve as the water retention during drought periods for watering livestock and reducing nutrient and sediment loading to the Roseau River. To find out what Seine River Watershed does and is involved in, I'd encourage everyone to look on our website. Our communication partners have done an excellent job showcasing and capturing our work and achievements. There are numerous written articles which are complemented with videos, photographs, and testimonials. We also are on Facebook and Instagram. I'm thankful to you, Mr. Mayor, and the rest of Council having confidence in me, representing the City of Steinbach, Southeast Manitoba, and all the watersheds in this province, to the people of Manitoba and the provincial government. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hebert. I don't know about you, Council, but you really had me going when you got to the cow-calf operation. Because I'm thinking, if we get more of them alive, it's better off for me. Thank you for all your work you do there. Thanks. Okay, Council, 11B, we've got the Pat Porter Active Living Center grant request. Council, I would suggest that we get this put onto our fall study session and look at it then. Okay? Thank you. 11C, we got the Minister of Municipal Relations, the 2021-2022 Municipal Operating Grant. So we're getting our, the last quarter paid, that's, should be this September, like, we should have got it already, correct, Mr. Organtine?
I'm not certain if it has been received, but it did say final payment was to be paid in September, so I suspect it has been deposited in the city's account.
Okay, sounds good. Council, take this as information? Okay. There's no other business. Looking for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Benner, second by Councillor Hebert. Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. The next regular council meeting is Tuesday, October 19th, 2021 at 7:30. Thank you. Council will have a short closed meeting